Our fact for this episode: one organisation's IT cast offs is another's must have. Surely then we need to connect the two. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Corporate Sustainability Education channel. We're powered by the Southern Sustainability Partnership. In this episode, we aim to highlight the uncomfortable truth that in the world of fast moving technology, organizations don't always hold on to their IT equipment as long as they could. But for someone that has unwanted mobile phones and computer equipment, that could actually be someone else's brand new. So here we talk to a company who is making it possible to both recycle and reuse by taking unwanted items and sending them out to those who need them, actually as good as new. So could your organization benefit from somewhere to dispose of your IT equipment or to actually buy your IT equipment? To discuss the process, we're extremely pleased to be joined today by Mike Rowe, Chief Operating Officer of Blackmore Recotech. Mike, welcome.
Morning, Linda. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Pleased to have you with us. So,
Pleasure.
Mike, imagining the IT equipment that comes through your doors could actually have ended up in landfill is quite a chilling thought. Can you explain to our listeners the types of equipment that you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we basically collect and process redundant IT equipment, and I think that sort of redundancy would be in its first life of the business. So some businesses would hold on to equipment for say 3, 4, or 5 years, then it comes into ourselves for processing. Laptops, desktop PCs, mobile phones, tablets, printers, networking gear, servers, uh, hard drives, floppy disks still. You know, a whole range of things. Really, anything that's got data, we basically look to handle for people. What we will also do is collect non-data bearing items as well in order to provide an all-round service. But in terms of stuff that we can put back into use, it's that sort of IT equipment that we can refresh and refurbish.
I think it's fair to say, Mike, that that's what we call comprehensive. Um,
Okay, thank you.
so, can you explain then where in the main does this equipment come from into your business that you refurbish? And are you
Yeah,
always looking for new suppliers, new people to bring their unwanted items to you?
yeah, sure. I mean, we are business to business. We're not. We don't actually provide a service to individuals as such. So it's all types of businesses. Um, Universities, colleges, um, government departments, Ministry of Defence. Charities. Quite a wide range of businesses. And we tend to, in normal times, we would be processing around 10,000 items a month. Not quite such a high volume at the moment because of the COVID pandemic. But we're always looking for more equipment, always looking for more quality equipment. And so those businesses that have got equipment, they want to sort of move on, shall we say, but in the correct way. We're very happy to talk to them to see what service we can provide.
Okay, for a company that has quite a robust sustainability strategy in place, it must be a relief to find an organisation like yours to be able to find a home for the equipment they don't need anymore.
Yeah.
So, can you explain to us why an organisation would come to Blackmore Recotech?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Blackmore's been going for over 20 years, so we've got quite a long pedigree within the sort of um, we're what known as a secure IT asset disposal business. So that's the posh words for it. So I say we've been going for about 20 years. One of the things we like to think we're very good at is providing a very good level of customer service. So we don't tend to lose clients. We've got people who've been with us 8, 10, 12, 15 years, and some of them are very large businesses. Um, we like to think we're good at what we do. So we we're very hot on sort of accreditations and making sure we do a very, very good sort of technical job with what we do. So we've invested heavily to make sure we've got a number of ISO standards. So we've historically had 9001, 14001, and 27001. what we have done during the COVID, we've carried on that investment and actually obtained ISO 45001. That's the latest health and safety standard. So there aren't many people that provide the service that we do that have that accreditation. And then we are members of ADISA, which is they wouldn't want to be called a trade association, but essentially they are sort of almost a trade association for the top 40 odd businesses that do our type of work. And they have a very strict accreditation process. We were audited by them back in October, and we scored 98.3%, which is their highest ever award. So we're obviously very proud of that. And the other thing we've done, we've invested heavily in our own in-house software system called Cerberus, which the feedback is we're market leading on that. So in terms of providing that excellent level of service, that's what we provide, backed up by the technical side as well. So I think we're pretty approachable. Hopefully that will come across today that we're quite approachable. So with that, we just try and provide a really good service for people, and try and tell it as it is, really.
Just imagining a poor little laptop comes to you, nobody wants it anymore.
Yeah.
I think what would be really interesting is how you take that laptop through the journey, through Blackmore Recotec's process, and then out to a happy laptop again, where it's all brand new and waiting to go to its new customer.
Yeah. Okay. So most of the collection. So when somebody would like us to make a collection of equipment, generally speaking, comes in by email or phone call. So then we would agree what time we're going to collect it. We would issue the appropriate paperwork and that, and then all of our vans that we use are security tracked, so we know exactly where a van is at any moment in time, and all of our staff are security cleared. So the customer can have the confidence in knowing that, with the staff are security cleared, half of our staff are cleared counter-terrorism level for some of the contracts we fulfill, and then the van, I say we know where all our vans are at any moment in time. We collect the equipment on site, and then the paperwork is completed on site, and we take ownership of that item effectively at that moment in time. So when that paper exchange takes place at the time of collection, which at the minute tends to be electronic because of COVID purposes, then it's our responsibility. Then it gets brought back to our processing facility here at Chitton. Now, at the moment, because of COVID, any item coming into the building is placed into quarantine for 72 hours before it's worked on. That's a protocol that we put in purely because of COVID. I mean, there's no obvious evidence that things can be transmitted, but just in case. Now, when an item is collected, when we collect an item on site, it's allocated a barcode, and that barcode stays with it throughout its journey, all the way through its journey with Blackmore, so that we can then identify at any moment in time where that item is within our process. So it'll come back into the building. It'll be quarantined for 72 hours, and then it'll go through a process that we know is auditing. So the barcode gets scanned in, and then we inspect that item for any data-bearing parts on it, and we will then look to sanitize the data, and we'll make a judgment then on whether the item can actually be refurbished for resale, or whether actually it's beyond sort of economic repair. Then in which case it would be marked that we'd actually harvest the valuable components from it, because then those valuable components would then get sold separately. So once it's been made data safe and entered onto our records, it would then, generally speaking, go through to our refurbishment team. So if it's a laptop, I mean, typically on laptops, it might need a new screen, it might need a new keyboard. It might be that the lid of the laptop is damaged, so we would look to respray that, or actually sometimes we put a transfer on it. So then we would refurbish that laptop. Then once that's been done, then depending on the quality of the laptop, might either be sold as part of a trade sale, or would actually be advertised on our electronic trading platforms into the open market. And then once you've taken an offer for it, it then goes to our fulfillment team. We deal with DHL mostly in terms of getting stuff out to clients. So it would then be shipped out to clients on a next day delivery basis, and then along with a guarantee, and hopefully then the laptop will then provide its next owner with a few years of good quality service. That's what we were trying to do.
I imagine one of the biggest conversations that you would have with many organisations would be around their about parting with IT equipment based on, as
Yeah.
you alluded to, the data that it would hold. How do you go about putting their mind at rest?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we are effectively the last line of cyber security, cyber defense, because with the implications of GDPR and controlling your data, that's very important for all businesses. And although a lot of IT equipment on mobile phones have the sort of factory reset option, if you press the factory reset option, then somebody who's skilled at what they're doing can still actually access an awful lot of information from your mobile device or from your laptop. Um, so it's really important that people use a sort of specialist business like ourselves. And so there are two ways of actually. So we never actually access the actual data on the machine. That's not. We don't need to see that. We just need to sanitize that data. There are two main ways. One is sort of you literally shred the hard drive. So and then we've got two shredders that can shred to different sizes, all the way down to anywhere from 35 millimeters down to 2 millimeters. Um, a hard drive that's been shredded to 2 millimeters isn't going to lose much data. Or we can actually electronically sanitize hard drives. So we've got 2 or 3 different software programs that are specialist programs that when you run the hard drive through this program, it wipes all the data from the hard drive. Now you only need to do it once technically, but we actually do it 3 times just to provide ultimate security. And the gold standard sort of system we use is a system called Blanco, which is actually NATO approved and approved by about 16 different governments around the world. So, but there are other equally highly qualified systems that we use as well, like White Canyon and different things. So we can make sure things are data secure in that way. Then we can provide the appropriate certification back to the client to show that they've achieved GDPR compliance.
We don't expect you to mention a name of an organisation, Mike, but could you share a case study of the type of organisation that you might have worked with and the benefits for them to their corporate sustainability strategy?
Yeah, sure. So there's one. So I mean, we support a number of universities with their IT asset disposal. Um, so what we've calculated and is supported by data from RAP, the I think it's a government funded organisation, isn't it? The waste. So looking at information that they've recorded about when you bring an item back into reuse, they've calculated effectively how much carbon you are saving by bringing an item back into reuse compared to having to buy new items. So probably one of our largest clients in terms of the kilos of carbon we saved for them it would be 2019 figures. We saved, based on the RAP data, 476,000 kilos of carbon. That's for a government organisation, and for one particular university, we saved 86,000 kilos of carbon by bringing as many of their PCs and laptops back into use as we could.
Who are your customers that you're aware of who actually buy the refurbished equipment?
We have a mixture of business buyers and personal buyers. So quite if we've got when we get a high number of particular models of laptop and PC, there are quite a few business buyers that are quite happy to refurbish their IT using secondhand equipment. Quite a few sort of schools as well. I mean, I think it was about 12 months ago, there was a primary school up in Lincolnshire actually that their PCs in the IT suite were 9 years old, and they were so old that they were no longer able to run the lessons for the children. And I actually picked it up off Twitter, actually, it got referred to me. So we actually supplied that school with 4-year-old PCs. It cost £1,275 compared to what the cost of buying brand new equipment was. But the equipment was 5 years newer, and it meant the children could have IT lessons again compared to not being able to have IT lessons. So, schools, businesses, but an awful lot of just private individuals buying laptops, tablets, mobiles. There are some items which are better handled by more specialist refurbishers than what we are. So then we do some trade sales. and we export to the EU and also to other countries, and then we're probably about export trade is probably about 20% of what we do. So there's there are a whole range of outlets depending on what we've got available at any one moment in time.
Yeah, you can get a very good idea of the types of organisations and individuals that are benefiting from this, and maybe paying a fraction of what they would have paid for something new, which may actually have made it impossible for them to have it in the first place. So it really is a fantastic service. And as a company, we have ourselves benefited, bought an iPad from you, which came the service from start to finish, keeping up to date with where it was, tracking in the process, when it arrived, to opening it up, looking like it was all shiny and it could have been a new out of the box. And yeah, really, really pleased with the service. So highly recommend it. And we will, to the right of this video, we will put the website where you can click on that and actually keep an eye on what is for sale on your website at any one time. Mike, there's obviously buying new to you as in refurbished, but in terms of sustainability, I suppose we also have to look at the idea of repairing what you already have if it can
Yeah.
be repaired. So do you offer that type of service as well? So you can keep your equipment, get it back when it's good to go again?
Yes, we do, and it's a side of the business we're looking to actually diversify into a little bit more at the current time. So some equipment that we collect when it arrives here that doesn't actually work, which then that can create issues in terms of actually data sanitizing it. So the first thing that we'll try and do is actually try and make it work so that we can data sanitize it electronically, because then it can be reused. So that there's an element of repair required at that quite early stage. And then equipment that's going into to be refurbished. I mean, in essence, refurbishment is repair in essence. Now, what we're aware of is that obviously the pandemic's had quite an economic effect on all of us, and so some businesses will be looking to extend the lifespan of their IT equipment and delay the refresh program. So we are offering that repair service to businesses and to people, because we've got the capability here where we're quite clearly a secure business to deal with, and we have got the expertise in which to deal with those repairs. So yeah, it's certainly a service that we're offering more of. We're about to sort of go out to all of our clients, offering that service to make sure they appreciate everything that we can offer. But yeah, very pleased to look at repair work. And as I say, it's something that we do anyway, without it historically having been a major focus of what we do, but we can see it being more important going forward.
Can you share the work that you have been doing to support homeschooling during this difficult time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, it's a real challenge, isn't it? Homeschooling. I'm grateful that my son's be 21 this year, because the thought of trying to homeschool down is actually quite terrifying, to be honest. So we during the first lockdown, we actually supplied some laptops to some different people, but we've actually established our own scheme called Laptops for Learners. So we're accepting IT equipment in from businesses and from individuals that we will then process in order to generate money. Then that money is then available to schools to actually purchase equipment with. And you very kindly, I think there's a video we produced which is highlighting that sort of offering, which is available on one of your channels. We've been supporting some of the other initiatives as well. There's an IT network service managed provider based in Reading, and we've been helping them with their scheme because they've had things donated. They've had laptops donated with no charges, so we've been providing them with charges to go with the laptops, so that they can then use those. And then the DSA, the trade organisation we're a member of, they are working on a much larger national scheme along with the Learning Foundation. And that's attracting a lot of interest from Microsoft and Intel and different people. And we are one of the founder members of that arrangement. So and they're looking at, they're talking massive numbers potentially coming through. So we're trying to support on a number of different levels with different schemes that are going on, as well as running our own scheme as well.
So, my final question to you, Mike, is how can we as organisations support the work that you're doing? Should we be sending everybody scurrying around their offices and their facilities, looking at IT equipment that's gathering dust? Are you looking for new organisations to start to look at this in terms of sending items to you? And obviously now they can confidently see that their data will be sensitively managed.
We're very much open for new business and new clients. Like every business, we've been affected by the COVID pandemic, and we've got a number of previous clients that have gone into sort of hibernation for a while. There will unfortunately be some clients that won't survive the pandemic, and there are some clients that have expanded during the pandemic. So I think that we do provide a very secure and trusted route, I think, for people that have IT equipment that they no longer require. We can sort of guarantee that it's going to be treated in the appropriate data safety way, data security way, which is vital. We comply with all the Environment Agency legislation as well. We're heavily regulated in terms of those laws. And also we're zero to landfill. So anything that we can't reuse or recycle ourselves, we use downstream partners for, all of which work on a zero to landfill basis. So if you use Blackmore, you will know that any value in your equipment is being maximised. Uh, nobody handles data security, data sanitization better than we do. And also we are looking at that sort of, everything around the circular economy side of it to make sure we can bring back into life or reuse everything that is possible that comes through our door. So I would like to think we're a really good choice in that respect. So yeah, I think, and also you're going to get a good level of service. It's very kind of you to sort of mention the service that you guys have received yourselves. Um, we try and provide that level of service to all of our clients. So we try and we just try and look after people. And it's the old adage about treat other people as you want to be treated yourselves, and it's the same. That's our ethos around doing business with people. Um, so yeah, I just like to think you can trust us, and we provide a good service, and we are very much open for business, open for new clients.
Well, a big thank you to Mike Rowe, Chief Operating Officer of Blackmore Recotech. You'll be pleased to know that we have invited Mike back to discuss the other division within their business. You will find a link, as I said, to the website to the right of this video to enable you to find out more about the company and the services they offer, and also how you can buy some of this refurbished equipment. If you do that as an organisation, we'd love to hear from you in terms of doing a case study interview on this channel. I think that would be extremely interesting. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.